Deadly Games. The premise of this show is that there is a man who created a video game in which he is the main hero and the people from his life who have hurt him are the villains. Their powers and weaknesses correspond to that which defines them in the main character's eyes. There's a villain based on his former mother-in-law. He always saw her as cold and obsessed with keeping things clean, so in the video game she has the power to freeze people to death and is vulnerable to dirt. All the other villains are created in a similar fashion. Since the main character is a university research scientist who experiments with antimatter, an accident occurs one day in which all the video game villains are set free into the real world, with the Jackal, portrayed by the amazing Christopher Lloyd, being their leader. Each episode follows one level of the video game, in which the Jackal and another villain try to cause mayhem in the real world, with the main character Gus, his ex-wife, and his friend Pete trying to stop them. While this is going on, we learn more about what makes each villain tick. Although Gus is kind of a loser, he's the only one who knows what each of the villains want to do and how to defeat them, making him the unlikely hero. From what I'm guessing are production reasons, the show has an open ending and there are only 13 episodes total. I first saw this show as a kid and I couldn't remember its name for years. I've tried to search for it at various points, but only recently did a random person online help me find it. What's surprising to me after all these years is the high production value and the quality of the practical effects. Like there's actual helicopters, steamboats and so on. Yes, it's super corny and on the nose and there is a lot of exposition, but it doesn't really bother me at all. A character who absolutely steals the show is the Jackal. He is the main villain of the show, and in Gus's video game, he is based on his dad. You can imagine him as the Joker, Lex Luthor, and Satan combined. In the very first episode, we learn that his goal is the elimination of all life, and we are literally told that if he is not stopped, he will end up ruling over a lifeless desert of a planet. He doesn't mess around, since in the very first episode his plan is to detonate a nuclear bomb. He dresses like a 1930s mafia boss, and sometimes he shows up randomly with a glass of champagne just to troll the main characters and mess with their heads, with which he has a special way. The plot of the show as a whole is neither super complex, nor does the show take itself super seriously. It's a fun experience that will keep you entertained if you have a soft spot for some mid-90s goofiness. You can watch the whole show here on YouTube and let me know in the comments if you remember watching it all those years ago.